back at again with another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G, and today, well, firstly, I've been kind of under the weather because, like snow and, just the weather, but yeah, I'm still going to give y'all content today. 10 wrestlers. We're going to react to 10 wrestlers banned forever from WWE Hall of Fame. Let's get right into the video. How y'all doing?
Why these WWE wrestlers have been...
Okay. That was like really loud, so let's turn the volume down a little bit.
snubbed from the Hall of Fame. Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's exclusion from the Hall of Fame is a very strange case. The former WWE star made a name for himself in WCW. He started as Flying Brian in 1989 and was one half of the Hollywood Blondes in 1993. He was even a member of the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Chris Benoit. However, most WWE fans would label his loose cannon persona as the most memorable part of his WCW stint. Pillman would blur the lines between fiction and reality with notable shoot moments that made his character very unpredictable. He would refer to Kevin Sullivan as Booker Man and upset talents like Arn Anderson and Bobby Heenan because he often went off script. Pillman's legacy is tied with WCW and ECW as he was only in WWE for a year before his unfortunate passing, but Pillman made a huge splash during his brief stint in the promotion. One of the most memorable moments in the Attitude Era was when Brian pulled out a gun and threatened Stone Cold Steve Austin with it. Pillman has certainly earned a Hall of Fame placement, so it's a mystery why he hasn't been inducted yet. The only possible reason could be the controversial move that Vince pulled following Brian's death that saw the WWE win the Wrestling Observer's Most Disgusting Promotional Tactic Award, interviewing Brian Pillman's widow just only a day after he passed away. Not surprisingly, the interview was awkward.
Okay, I don't really know too much about Brian Pillman. If y'all can give me like a little background analysis in the comments, please, because I know my history of wrestling, but like I know that he had pulled a gun out on the wrestling thing because it was just part of like the script or whatever. But like, what else did he do? Like, was he an underrated wrestler? Did he win any championships? What controversial? Pretty much, what did he do that was so bad? Pretty much, I want to know what he did.
But then it seemed like Vince wanted to jump the gun about the circuit.
Here we go with the ad.
Death because false rumors spread like wildfire. Well, that is all speculation, but it really is the only thing that would justify why Brian Pillman is yet to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Miss Elizabeth, one of the greatest managers of all time, unfortunately passed away at the young age of 42. Known as the First Lady of Wrestling, Miss Elizabeth was a crucial part of the Macho Man Randy Savage's act. There was a warmth and aura about Miss Elizabeth that instantly made her a likable personality. Her career ended in WWE when they got a divorce in 1992, but she had a resurgence in WCW 4 years later. Miss Elizabeth had a brief reunion with Randy, but quickly turned on him and managed Ric Flair. She had a notable spot on the WCW roster as she was in the Four Horsemen and NWO, but it was a partnership with Lex Luga which would stir up some controversy. Miss Elizabeth and Lex Luga dated in real life, and it was a toxic relationship that ended unfortunately in tragedy. Lex Luga became addicted to painkillers, and so did Miss Elizabeth. Their world spiraled out of control until one day Miss Elizabeth collapsed and passed away on May 1st, 2003. Miss Elizabeth's family blamed wrestling for her death and didn't want the business to benefit from her, but there have been rumors that the family outright banned her from joining the company's Hall of Fame. There's no telling how true the final statement was, but it does seem that cooler heads have prevailed as Miss Elizabeth was in 2K24. Maybe she'll finally be given the honor that she rightfully deserves. Lex Luga. Coming off the Miss Elizabeth tragedy, Luga's career wasn't the same since. Going back to Luga's days in WWE, there was a point where the former WWE star was primed to replace Hulk Hogan as a top babyface of WWE, but that never panned out because fans never bought Luga as Mr. America. Nevertheless, Luga's biggest success comes from his time in WCW. Luga had a successful stint under the Four Horsemen, and his popularity was at an all-time high when he won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. His WWE run wasn't particularly bad, it just exposed Luga as a bland personality that didn't fit in the main event. Still, Luga made an impact in the business and does deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame. However, the death of Miss Elizabeth saw many point the finger at Luga. While no one believes that he killed the First Lady of Wrestling, many feel that Luga enabled her drug addiction. There's also the chance there's heat on Luga because he left the WWE for WCW.
I did not even know about any of that. Honestly, I did not.
W. When the Four Horsemen were inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012, Luga was not included. According to Ringside News, WWE officials opted against including Luga. Luga not being inducted stems from some negativity that surrounds his legacy due to his close relationship with Miss Elizabeth at the time of her death. In 2003, Elizabeth Hulette passed away as a result of a drug and alcohol overdose at the age of 42. Luga had been living with her at the time of her death and was linked to involvement in heavy drug use with her, as well as several documented incidents with the law leading up to her death. While this was never confirmed, it's clear that the former WWE star was snubbed in 2012. Luga has worked in the company in recent years and even made his first television appearance on The Bump in 2003, so his status may have changed with the officials. China. Now we know, China is in the WWE Hall of Fame, but as a member of D-Generation X. But Chyna's career has more value than being the bodyguard for the popular faction. She's the first and only woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship twice. She's the first female to be in a Royal Rumble. The ninth wonder of the world also had a fun story with another WWE legend, Eddie Guerrero. When it comes to Chyna, Triple H explained in 2013 why she wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame as a solo act. It was ultimately due to Chyna's involvement with adult films. Given WWE's PG image, the reason behind it is sound. Chyna was reportedly fired from Impact Wrestling in 2011 for the same reason. But Chyna didn't buy into the reason that Triple H gave on Austin's podcast. Given the rocky end to her WWE run, it wouldn't be surprising if Chyna's involvement with adult films wasn't the only reason. It remains questionable whether Chyna will get her solo induction anytime soon. Her beef was with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon as the WWE power couple linked up while the former was...
She does not look the same. What was it? Is it makeup? Or is it she aged? I don't know.
Still dating Chyna. Hopefully Triple H has truly turned a new leaf and generally considers giving the ninth wonder of the world a much-deserved solo induction. The Dynamite Kid. Davey Boy Smith is a name that gets the most recognition in WWE history, even though a good part of the British Bulldog's success was with the Dynamite Kid. Thomas Billington, aka the Dynamite Kid, was no slouch in the ring. He may not have had the charisma that Davey Boy did, but he was an exceptional talent who could have been a great mid-carder. Though the Dynamite Kid didn't have much of a career beyond his tag team stint with Davey Boy Smith, his run...
I don't know much about Dynamite Kid, so let's hear about him.
In Japan and Stampede Wrestling highlighted just how great of an athlete he really was. But the problem with Dynamite Kid was that he wasn't a nice guy behind the scenes. The dark side of the ring covered how much of a menace he was to the roster, and guys like Bruce Pritchard and Jacques Rougeau labeled him as a bully, though the Dynamite Kid has an even worse label on his name, an abuser. The Dynamite Kid once pulled a gun on his wife in front of his children, and thankfully nobody was hurt, but the incident tarnished his legacy and likely put him on the list of names that can never enter the WWE Hall of Fame. King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy came so close to being the next big thing at WrestleMania 2. The former WWE star made waves during his time in WWE and had several...
I know him from one match. Was it King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan? I think it was WrestleMania 2 or 1. It was either one.
Notable matches against Andre the Giant and Bam Bam Bigelow. It seemed that Bundy was primed for the main event scene heading into WrestleMania 2, but once he took the loss to Hogan, things were never the same between him and Vince McMahon. Like the other names on this list, there's no...
I think this is the match right here. But watching it on the TV, the quality looked horrible. I don't know how it looks so good on that. I think there's like a newspaper, like a camera or something with color.
Confirmation of whether officials even discussed putting Bundy into the Hall of Fame, but Tommy Dreamer revealed a text message on his House of Hardcore podcast in 2005 that shed some light on the strain between him and Vince McMahon. Hey man, this is not on you. Always been cool and friends with you, so I need you to relay this message to WWE, especially to Vince McMahon. Number 1, you need to tell him that he needs to pay me more and that he owes me. Number 2, unless there's a creative idea for me winning the title, I have no interest in it because he promised me the title when I put over Hulk Hogan and he never delivered, so please go tell him to F himself. Now, it also didn't help that King Kong Bundy filed a lawsuit against WWE in 2016. Unfortunately, Bundy passed away in 2019. Whilst Vince McMahon is no longer in WWE, there's always a chance that Triple H could honor the legacy of the pro wrestler. Psycho Sid. Perhaps the most surprising name on the list is Psycho Sid. The man has an accomplished career spanning across NWA, WCW, and WWE. Psycho Sid was no Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels in the ring, but he had an undeniable charisma that got him over as a huge star. But he also didn't leave the company on the best terms, as he wasn't happy about the outcome of his match against the Ultimate Warrior.
Now, if Vince chose to make Psycho Sid WWF, I don't know if I could say that, can I? WWF champion. Yeah. Y'all let me know in the comments if Psycho Sid could have been WWF champion back then. Psycho Sid.
Allegedly, Sid was unreliable, but with the rap sheet of some of the names on this list, that's rather tame. The former WWE champion did make a brief return in 2012 by helping Lita beat him. The former WWE champion did make a brief return.
Wait, hold on. Did he win? Hold on. Psycho Sid. Oh, get that man off my screen, man. Has he won WWF champion award? I didn't even know he actually became. Hold on, am I wrong? I didn't know he became WWF champion. Well, he looks like a person that you can push to the top to make a star. So I didn't know that.
Turn in 2012 by helping Lita beat Heath Slater on Raw's 1000th episode, but that was his last WWE appearance. There are no reports of any backstage heat Sid had with management after his surprising cameo. Now, this could have been a case where Vince McMahon didn't feel it was the right time to put Sid into the Hall of Fame, or maybe he felt that Sid didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. The former champion himself has stated in the past that he didn't even deserve to be there. He noted his short career and lack of success in WWE as primary reasons. However, he was also a former WWE champion, and champions should deserve the right to be in the Hall of Fame. Ivan Koloff. Oh, we always hear about Bruno Sammartino's historic 8-year title run, but what about the man who beat him? Well, Ivan Koloff's title run didn't last long. In fact, he only held the belt for 21 days. But him beating Bruno Sammartino isn't the reason he should be in the Hall of Fame. Koloff was an excellent heel who was able to generate strong heat. He was a dynamic performer who knew how to work a good match and made waves down in NWA as well. The only point of contention on why Koloff isn't in the Hall of Fame traces back to the lawsuit the company filed in 2015. That lawsuit was reportedly a response to Koloff threatening to sue WWE for concussion-based injuries. The lawsuit was eventually thrown out in 2018, and given how petty Vince McMahon has been known to be, so were Koloff's chances of entering the Hall of Fame anytime soon. Owen Hart. Owen Hart not being in the Hall of Fame will always be a crime against humanity. The former WWE Intercontinental Champion had incredible runs throughout the 80s and 90s as both a tag team and singles competitor. But Owen Hart will like
Owen Hart. He's a wrestler that grew on me because, he put on a good match against Bret Hart, his own brother, and he won the match. So he has good promo skills, good in-ring ability.
never be in the Hall of Fame, and it's not the company's fault. Well, at least somewhat. Tragically, Owen Hart passed away at the Over the Edge pay-per-view in May of 1999. He fell to his death as he headed to the ring for his match against The Godfather. Now, the relationship between Martha Hart and the WWE was very troublesome after Owen's death. Martha sued the company for wrongful death, and according to Martha, WWE retaliated by suing her for breach of contract. That resulted in a years-long battle that took a toll on Martha's health. She discussed a legal battle against the company on Talk is Jericho, saying it was the craziest thing because they had in their contract that you could only sue them in Connecticut. It wasn't about Owen's contract, it was totally different, wrongful death lawsuit. But through that process of the lawsuit, they were trying everything and anything to muddy the waters and intimidate me, so they were throwing everything at me. While it's all water under the bridge, as Martha has stated that she's forgiven the company, but she still refuses them to let them induct Owen Hart into the WWE Hall of Fame. There's always been this talk that, oh, we want to put...
I think you got the Hart Foundation, the Hart Dynasty. It's just, both of them, I just like the whole gimmick, and then having two different families, and then the new generation, the Tyson Kid, Davey Boy Smith. I think that's supposed to be Davey Boy Smith's son, right? And then Natalia. And then you had the old one, which was the Hart Foundation, which is Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart.
Put Owen in the Hall of Fame. Their Hall of
And the pink attires always look good.
Fame, they don't even have a hallway of fame. It just doesn't exist. There's nothing. It's a fake entity. There's nothing real or tangible. It's an event they have to make money. They put it on TV and have a celebration, and it's just so ridiculous. We'll never entertain it. It's garbage. And it's hard to argue with Martha, as it's understandable why she has much ill will against the company. Things could change in the future, but not right now. And of course, Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, before this whole tragedy, was a fantastic wrestler and arguably a generational talent. But if WWE ever put him in the Hall of Fame, then it would be an absolute PR nightmare that could ruin their entire business. There's simply no justification for what Benoit did. We can understand that this is a complex subject because Benoit's issues with CT are an important part in the conversation, but at the end of the day, he committed one of the most heinous—
Yes, guys, I already know the backstory behind this.
crimes ever seen in wrestling, so there's simply no way he could ever be in the Hall of Fame. But there you have it, folks, why these wrestlers will never be in the Hall of Fame.
Alright, guys, this was 10 wrestlers banned forever from WWE Hall of Fame. You guys tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned to that. And yeah, more videos coming. Subscribe, like, comment. And Uriah out.